It's Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and a day late in the Awesome Crew show.
You look
But
tired.
what?
You look exhausted.
Dude, fucking Chinese food, man, it killed me. I swear to God, never again from that fucking restaurant. Um, but it's the Awesome Crew show with my good self, Lenator, Captain Awesomeo, and Bob Wallace. Let's talk some shit.
Yeah,
Uh,
I did get to talk some shit on the day before Wednesday. That was
that's right.
fun. It was great. I guess JD Kane is hanging out in your neck of the woods there, Lenny.
Yeah. I don't know what he's doing, but he's down here apparently, and I'm going back to Ireland week after next, so I'm
So,
not going to be around.
so that means how long are you going to be gone for again?
Just a week.
Just a week. Oh, so you guys get to not have an episode of the Awesome Crew Show for a week. So, what an eventful week we've had since last Wednesday. We've experienced the piss and vinegar of Rand Campbell been called out as racist and homophobes, which isn't true. And the best he could do was offer a quote mined, poorly edited, just loops of us saying words without context. But yeah, and apparently the only person who was convinced that there was something wrong with us was Blue. And Blue has been trying to bust our chops, and he sent us that video, and he tried to get on my case the other day. It's like, look, you can say a word, but without the context behind it,
Right.
the word doesn't make you a racist or homophobic or anything. The context and the intent makes you the racist and the homophobe. So, and then he said, so that's all there is to that. So, um,
He said I sound juvenile and weak.
okay. Well, he sounds high off his ass most of the time. I still like him though.
Oh, no, I actually I quite like Blue, to be honest with you. I really,
Yeah,
he's a nice guy.
he is a nice guy. So, anyways, so we had talking shit day before Tuesday. The little bit of a whimper for Rand Campbell. What's great is that Rand Campbell actually made himself look like the bigger asshole um, than he ever could quite possibly make us. We were going to have Hillary on today, but after talking to her, she's not quite done yet with the video. She swears that she will have it done by this weekend, so we can roll out with that. Probably next week would be a fun time to do that. The juicy, unedited Rand Campbell, hate-belching retard that he is. But in the meantime, Rand has been, well, let's see here. Should we talk about Veckel's meltdown first, or should we talk about Rand Campbell's video and your reply, Bobby? What would be the better?
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm still reeling over the phrase "hate tard."
Hate tart. Yeah, let's go into the hate tard and see where that goes. Because what the hell is a hate tard?
Who called this a hate tard?
He said "hate retard," and I'm like, oh man, a hate tard.
Oh, a hate retard? Okay. Well, yeah, apparently him and the clusterfuck of like the clown car posse that he has says that I'm mentally ill.
Of
I
course.
mean, of course, I'm so hurt.
Yeah, they did try to. I actually got into a hangout with Rand Campbell, G-Man, and Veckel, and Raw.
Oh yeah. So tell us about what happened, because I was actually, despite Rand Campbell's best efforts, I actually did enjoy my weekend. It was a good family weekend. The only bad thing that came out of it is that I was forced to watch a damn SpongeBob movie, and at least Antonio Banderas is still getting work. I mean, that's
Good, no, really, good for him. He deserves.
good for him. So, but anyways, yeah. So I'm sitting there, and my phone's just going off, and I would have liked to stay at home and deal with a bunch of idiots, or I could go outside and enjoy my weekend. Guess which one I chose. So, Bobby, you did step in there. How did that go?
It was actually entertaining from my point. I mean, they were reasonably respectful to me, which was nice. But But yeah, they were trying to, especially Raw was trying to, say that you were mentally ill and whatnot. I'm like, man, you're not qualified for that. Well, how are you qualified to defend evolution? Apples and oranges, asshole.
Yeah. I'm so mentally ill, says the guy that's trying to be like failed art student in every single one of his videos looking like Osama bin Laden, just staring blankly in a monotone into the camera. Yeah. Delusions there, buddy.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
How are you qualified to defend evolution? How are they fucking qualified to criticize it? Jesus.
Exactly.
Yeah. How's that for a throwback? Jesus.
Actually, there's something. G-Man really wants to have a debate with you.
With me?
Yes, and I said, okay, how about, because he's wanted you to go on to like a Bible Thumping Wingnuts channel to moderate, or Matthew 4:19. I'm like, you're never going to do that.
No.
So he finally agreed, and I don't know if he's going to stick to it, because it's G-Man. But he did agree that if I had it on my channel and I moderated, he would be willing to debate you on my channel.
Okay. Sure.
So I'm thinking, if we do that, I would like to set up actually a formal debate.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. You want me to continue working through with rules on that?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Okay. I'll try to negotiate with G-Man exactly.
Now, just mind you, Bobby, and I know that I've shared this with you and Lenny in the past. The times that I have called out G-Man, just to have a conversation with him, sometime last year, and I still have the screenshot or the PMs and whatnot to show this. I called him out, hey, let's just have a conversation about how bad your arguments are, and that the only way I'll do this is if you admit publicly that my arguments are solid and have foundation, or I forgot exactly how he put it, but he wanted me to go and make a public announcement saying, oh, G-Man's arguments are amazing. But I'm like, but that's a bit. No, your arguments aren't sound. I have this.
How can you debate after that? How can you have a debate after you've just said, yeah, G-Man's arguments are sound and amazing, but I'm going to debate them because I think they're wrong? That doesn't work.
And he sprang this on me like at the last minute too, and he's done this twice. So Bobby, if you want to facilitate, fine. I mean, I could give 2 ounces of shit about Bible Thumper 419, but I mean, Losoyo would be a good candidate if some reason you can't. But sure.
Well, see, if I were to set it up, I would set it up so that nobody would be talking over each other. One person would I would actually have a stopwatch and time it.
Yeah,
one person would have a time to speak, the other person would have time to speak, and then you'd have 3-minute rebuttal. Nobody speaking over each other, and because that will prevent G-Man from doing his standard gish glop.
Right. So
that's my thing.
Did he say a topic?
He did not, but that's what I'll enter into negotiations with him over.
Okay, if he wants to discuss, I don't know, science or whatever, or morality, that's fun. If he wants to get precept, I don't. I mean, I know I've said this before. I'm not going to have a debate over Campbell's soup. I might mention it tongue in cheek, but if he's too stupid to see the compare and contrast between Campbell's soup, I'm not going to waste my time talking about that for an hour.
Agreed.
So, if he wants, I will dedicate 15 minutes of my time to explain to G-Man how his position towards his God with his answered prayer argument is exactly the same thing as praying to a can of soup. The results are the same. And people have gone on to say, well, one has characteristics that are different from another, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if, God likes the color purple and your soup is just a can of soup. It doesn't matter the attributes or the qualities if the end result is exactly the same. So,
or especially since saying God makes the color purple is unfalsifiable.
So. Right. So I mean, if you're
the argument he's making is that God is real because I asked God for something and then I got it. And what I've tried to explain to G-Man and what Christopher Mowdy's tried to explain to G-Man, I think everyone who's ever talked to him about his arguments tried to explain to that fucking moron, is that you have to demonstrate A, that your God is capable of granting your little wish, and B, God is the only thing that is capable of granting your wish. That is the only way that your point is proven. First you have to prove that he did it, and then you have to prove that he's the only thing or one that could have.
Well,
both of which are possible.
He'll point to the Bible as the claim or as the evidence when the Bible is really the claim, but
Yeah, ignoring the fact that it could be invisible rabid Smurfs that granted his wish.
Dude,
They
that
would
would be
do that
amazing.
just to fuck with you. Anyway,
Invisible Rabbit Smurfs don't do that, man. You know that as well as I do.
you know.
So speaking of invisible rabbits, with Lenny doing his best naughty imitation there, how's the bunny yet? Did you see Fabio's delicious bunny meat?
If Scrambles is in his cage because I'm not fucking dealing with him today. But Fabio represents the standing threat to the bunny if he misbehaves. I'm like, listen, if you don't fucking behave yourself, I'm gonna give you over to Fabio. What happens.
So speaking of G-Man and people within his ilk, who saw the Veckel breakdown?
I heard of it. I have not seen it yet.
So, good friend of ours and a theist who has been on the show quite frequently, Phony Beetle Maniacs. He was in a hangout with G-Man, and again, I don't watch these hangouts. I only read the comments on G+, and if they pique my attention, then I'll dedicate 90 seconds to whatever it is before I get nauseated. So Veckel went full-blown like Jason Burns on Phony Beef for Phony Beetle Maniacs saying that Jesus has been dead for 2,000 years. Like, whoa, hey, I expect that kind of talk from the atheist, but from a fellow Christian? Come on, man, that's not right. You can't say that Jesus Christ has been dead for 2,000 years. Well, he has been.
Is that not part of the theology that he died?
Yeah, I thought the whole point was that he died, he ascended, and he's going to eventually come back, and that's when the rapture is going to happen, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought that was like a key part of the. Like, I mean, if you don't believe that Jesus died, then you are in no sincere sense a Christian. I thought that was the key to theology. Like, if you don't believe that, then the game's over.
Well, he died and then he was resurrected on the third day, remember? But then after that, he ascended.
But then he fucked off up to heaven.
Right. So does that mean he's still
then.
alive or dead?
What's he doing? Is he watching The Walking Dead? What did he think of the gay kissing scene in the last episode?
Oh, dude, I loved it.
He probably got a guilty boner. But you see, here's the funny thing about that. When people go off on Jesus is this, Jesus is that, the fact of the matter is we don't actually know anything about a historical Jesus. The only Jesus we know anything about is the mythological Jesus.
Right.
And most of what we know about that, if you look at the contemporary first century, is wrong.
I mean, I'm willing to grant that there could have been someone by the name of Jesus who lived at this time, and I'm sure he was a nice guy, and he probably did nice things to people, and back at the time in the age of ignorance, people turned around because all they had to do was tell stories and embellish back in that day. I call it the Chuck Norris syndrome, and I've said this before. Jesus was the Chuck Norris of the Bronze Age.
Yeah, that's largely it. There is a blog post by Valerie Tarraco, has a YouTube channel, Trusting Doubt. If you've never seen her YouTube stuff, it is fantastic. She is actually, I believe, a psychologist.
Okay.
And she puts religion into the context of psychology, God's emotions and whatnot. And it's just fascinating, brilliant videos. And but she has a blog post out. I was just reading today. It's her newest one. 9 facts you know for sure about Jesus that are probably wrong.
Oh, wow.
Oh, let's hear it.
Yeah. Well, you see, you start off here. Yeah, okay, you know how most of the times you look at the artwork depicting Jesus, it's always the the inexplicably Aryan Jesus in the Middle East, right?
Yeah.
Or Western, he's always like 6 foot tall, long blonde hair.
Yeah, well, he's very pale complexion, brown hair, neatly trimmed brown beard, right?
Yeah.
With
Right.
hair that looks like he's using the Pantene probiotic hair.
Yeah,
Stuff.
yeah.
The real
exfoliates.
products,
Yeah,
the flowing locks with the shininess and the glisteniness. Yeah, guy takes care of himself.
Yeah, well, see, here's the thing.
I bet he smelled like ball cheese, to be quite honest.
Probably. But see, the number one on there, she lists on her thing, is a historical Jesus likely had cropped or short-cut hair, not long. Jewish men at the time of Christ did not wear their hair long, she writes. The Roman triumphal arc of the time period depicts Jewish slaves with their hair short. And in the Apostle Paul's first letter to the Corinthians, he addresses male hair length. Quote, does not nature itself teach you that that if a man wears long hair, it is degrading to him? Unquote. That's 1 Corinthians 11:14. So in likelihood, Jesus didn't have the long flowing locks that people picture on him.
Yeah.
Part two, he was likely married. It was actually extremely unusual for Jewish men, especially Jewish rabbis, to get above, in their 20s without being married. And in fact, there are not canonical gospels saying that he had a good relationship with Mary Magdalene. Gospel of Philip says, quote, Jesus loved her more than all the disciples and used to kiss her often on her mouth.
Cool.
Uh-oh.
So, Jesus wasn't the gay guy walking around hanging out with 12 dudes going, oh, look, honeys, let's practice the gospel. Because that's the only way of being unmarried at that age. So, yeah.
So you're telling me Jesus was smashing that shit? He was.
Oh yeah, Jesus got trim for sure.
He was he was smashing that pussy day and night.
Oh, dude, I bet he was churning butter in that shit. Wow.
Oh, yeah, you know it. So, number 3, he was hung on a pole, not necessarily a cross. That's the thing. For centuries, scholars have known that the Greek New Testament word satoros, which gets translated in English as cross, can refer to a device of several shapes. Some of them just an upright pole, some of them a tree. They had no one standard way of crucifying prisoners. They may have just early Christians may have settled on a cross because it was similar to the Egyptian ankh, or the symbol for life.
Mm.
So just nailed the fucking cunt to whatever. Just nail him to whatever.
Pretty much. He could have been just chunked to a tree. Also, like I was saying, we picture him as being almost 6 foot tall, and even the Shroud of Turin, which is obviously a fake, has about 6 foot tall. People being tall, he was likely just barely over 5 feet.
Wow, Jesus was a shorty.
Fucker.
Well, you look at the nutrition they had. They had very poor early nutrition. And so they didn't get very tall. They didn't have the food sources to actually grow as big. People have been getting taller as technology and access to food has gotten better.
Right.
He's probably a little fucker.
No, the one thing that I know, I mean, again, I'm not going to say that Jesus doesn't exist. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that, yeah, this guy did exist, but all these claims about stuff that he did was just fabricated at the time to make himself look awesome. I know that he wasn't like this handsome, well-chiseled white guy. He was probably brown skin, just like every other individual who lives in the Middle East.
With a nappy fro.
Yeah.
He wasn't Charlton Heston 35 years ago.
Fucking no, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
That's the point we're making. And to Captain's point, yeah, I mean, the thing is, the claim that there was 2,000 years ago, in one of the shittier parts of the Middle East, there was an itinerant rabbi who shook things up a little bit in the social structure, had a bunch of his friends do it with him, got killed for doing it. That's a believable claim. I can believe that. Why?
Right.
Because I've no reason not to believe it. It makes sense. Sure. Why not? It's a nice little story, and it's got some believability to it. But when you said, but the same cunt went around healing the blind and the sick and getting people up out of their tombs, right? And multiplying food stuffs, and they fucking killed him, and he came back 72 hours later to tell them all to go get fucked. That is an unbelievable claim.
Right.
Because we don't live in a universe where that type of thing happens.
Well, just like if you compare the prophet Jesus to modern day prophets, I mean, the two mainstream prophets that we have Joseph Smith and we have L. Ron Hubbard. Both we know are con men. I mean, there's plenty of literature you don't have to dig very far to see that both men are con men that claim to be prophets of to some caliber, to some varying degree, and they turned around and formed their own religion. I mean, what's to say that same type of thing didn't happen 2,000 years ago with this gentleman named Jesus? Just like with L. Ron Hubbard, his history is very well documented, very well tracked. However, the Scientologists will turn around and say, oh, well, he was this and this and this and this. It's like, no, that's not true. That is false. But they'll still maintain, oh, yeah, well, he did do this, he did do that. It's like, no, he really didn't.
Give another 500 years, the mythology will win out.
Exactly. So, and it's one of those. It's almost like the game of telephone, where you start out with a small phrase, and by the end of it, you have purple monkey dishwasher. I mean, it's just you can apply the same thing to storytelling with these stories that surround these people.
There are still 4 more things she has written here.
Go for it.
Well, the first one, the first one to come up here, he was born in a house, not a stable. What a lot of people don't realize is houses in the first century, especially in that part of the time, they had 2 floors. The upper floor is where the family lived, and the lower floor the family used, and during cold weather and whatnot, they would bring the animals inside.
Right.
And so it was not likely that there was no room at the inn and he had to go out to the barn. It was likely visiting family, if it even happened, and the house was full and he had to just stay on the lower floor, and there were some animals there, which was not uncommon during that time.
Yeah.
And the next one, this is one I pissed my mom off when I pointed this one out. His name isn't actually Jesus, and it never really was. There was a Yahshua ben Yosef, a Joshua, son of Joseph. The problem is there was another Joshua in biblical writing earlier who helped with Moses leading the people out, and so the name was changed to not create confusion between the 2 Joshuas.
Really?
Yes, Jesus isn't actually his name.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so they're getting the name wrong. When they say Jesus said this, well, no, it wasn't. That Jesus doesn't actually exist. It was Joshua, if he was a real human being.
His name was Josh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Josh is a much more, surfer dude kind of name too. I mean, you would want to hang out with a Josh, but a Jesus, you like, man, go mow my lawn, right?
Oh, it's funny. Very soon in Walking Dead, spoiler alert for those who haven't read the comics. My favorite character, his name is Paul Monroe. His nickname in the comics is actually Jesus. They call him Jesus because he bears a striking resemblance to Jesus. So, prepare to...
Behold our prophet and our savior, he has come before us, and thy name is Steve.
Right. So, if people were pissed off over the fact that, oh, dude, that one guy, Aaron, who's in the comics, still alive in the comics, still making out with his boyfriend in the comics. Oh no, there's a gay guy. Well, wait till Jesus pops up.
Nah.
Prepare to flip a shit. Anyways, wow, I did not know that one. Joshua.
Yeah. Number 7. The number of apostles, 12, is more likely from astrology, not history. There's a comment. I'm going to read this one verbatim. Whether Jesus had 12 disciples who were above his other devotees is an open question. The number 12 was considered auspicious by many ancient people, and the fellowship of 12 disciples who are depicted in Da Vinci's Last Supper likely got their count from the same source, the 12 signs of the zodiac, the 12 months of the year. Astrology or star worship preceded the Hebrew religion and shaped both the Bible and Western religions more broadly. One might point to the 12 Olympian gods or the 12 sons of Odin, or the 12 days of Christmas are 12 legitimate successors to the Prophet Muhammad. But since the Gospels echo the story of Joshua, the 12 apostles most closely parallel the 12 tribes of Israel. It's more mythology.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Now, number 8, something that I think we all can get through. The prophecies are recalled, not foretold.
Yeah, it's just like Nostradamus. I mean,
Yeah.
You don't have an event happen, and then after that event takes place, turn around and say, oh, look, it was right here. It's like, no, that's not how prophecies work.
No. And then the 9th one is kind of like, duh, some Jesus quotes are not from Jesus, others are uncertain. Let's say that happened in the first 100 years. We don't know what was going on. In the 2nd century, what we have at the beginning of the writings of the actual Bible that made it in were written by people who weren't first-hand accounts. It was second-hand accounts, third-hand accounts. And
Right.
so we don't know if he actually said what people say he said or not.
It's the game of telephone.
Yeah, and there's no way to know.
Right.
So I'm going to post this link in the comment section. And if you are unfamiliar with Valerie Tarraco, I highly recommend her, not only for the blog, but for her YouTube videos as well.
So Jesus, or Joshua, if we want to call him his name, he is dead. And you know the funny thing is that he's dead. Apparently he's supposed to come back in like the rapture and all this crap. You know that Scientologists have the same type of thinking with L. Ron Hubbard. They have an office in every single org that's just for LRH for his grand return. And I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, he's not going to come back anytime soon. I'll put money down on that. I mean, the Christians, Jews, whatever. Actually, not technically not the Jews. The Christians, Catholics, all of them have been waiting 2,000 years for this guy to come back. He's not coming back.
No.
I'm getting an image of a very lonely-looking boy sitting in a house by himself in front of a TV saying, "Dad just went to get cigarettes. He'll be back any minute." And it's been 15 years.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that seems about right. But then they'll go on and say, "Oh, well, the end times are coming. Oh, it's coming soon." I hate that word. I hate when they say that. Well, when's it coming? Soon. Oh, you know what? I'm not sure if you guys heard this or not, but Rand Campbell claims that the rapture or whatever, something's going to happen on September 23rd of this year.
I can guarantee you I'll be passing gas. That's about as holy as my day is going to get.
Right. And that's actually like coming up on hunt season too, so I'm probably going to be too busy to not really give a shit.
Wow, this is like that one movie. The killer's behind you, Lenny. Lenny, the killer's behind you.
I think Lenny's having some Montezuma's revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The killer is behind.
You talking about his rabbit?
No.
No, we're talking about his chronic diarrhea shit since eating that bad Chinese food.
Well, I've had that problem picking up some China Express one time. Safeway I used to work at the bakery right next to used to put up the leftover China Express, and 4 o'clock in the morning I'd come by and buy the leftover and eat it.
Yeah.
That was some China Express. About a half an hour to an hour after eating it, you were expressing. It tasted good. But yeah.
Oh, dude, I had the spiciest chicken wings the other day. I mean, they're good because I like spicy food. But, oh, man, Bobby, you kind of held my hand through that one. On Facebook. He's like, here's Rand Campbell, like, oh, wow, Asamoah's a racist. Like, dude, I could give two shits about anything you're saying right now. I am trying to pass the most burning rectal secretion right now.
Your ass looks like a Japanese battle flag.
Yeah, it is. Oh, man.
No, yeah, I woke up this morning. I was fine last night, and then I woke up this morning, and I swear to God, it was like I was shitting a knife. And and then like about an hour later, I was talking to Brian J on Skype, and then about an hour later, I was, Lord Jesus Christ, I didn't know whether I was coming or going, to be honest with you. I'm like, hey, I've got an important decision to make between puking and diarrheaing.
You know what? That happened to me once when I had some bad del taco. I woke up in the middle of the night and I felt hot. Like, I should not feel like hot, and then I started to get that feeling in the bottom of my throat. And like, oh man, something's going to happen. So I went downstairs, and then I started feeling rumbling downstairs. Like, oh man, it's going to be a double header. So it was like that one scene from South Park in the earlier season where the guy's like, oh, my nose. Blah. It's like, oh, gross. It was exactly like that.
It's how my butthole was like how I imagine that rift in this Pacific Rim film must have been like. Kaiju
the breed
coming out of it. And it was a double event.
Was it a Category 5? Oh man, that was great. 10 points, Lenny.
Like,
anyway,
we were talking just real quick. We were talking. I was talking yesterday with Fabio and Shadow Heathens and whatever else, and we were talking about the movie Pacific Rim, and they noted quite accurately how the main robot has a stripper name.
Gypsy Danger.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Gypsy Danger! Everybody give up that money.
Yeah, make it rain.
Yeah, pour some sugar on me starts coming through the speakers. Yeah.
There are only 2 stripper songs, Pour Some Sugar on Me and Hot for Teacher.
Motley Crue's "Girl Goes Girls" is also a good one.
Fair, very fair. Yeah.
Oh, this derailed.
I think Jesus himself would enjoy this conversation.
I am enjoying it. You know what? I bet Joshua, if he were in here, he'd say like, "Oh man, I had some bad hummus the other day."
I'm imagining him with this very sort of typical New York Jew accent, like, "Oh, I had some bad hummus. Let me tell you, it was terrible."
Oy vey! From the clip.
Can you picture him just like squatting over a hole back then? It's like, "Oh man, just put a nail in me already."
I'm schwitzing like crazy right now. I'm all verklebt.
Here's the thing. We know from excavations are out near the Dead Sea where the Dead Sea Scrolls are found. The name's escaping me.
Yeah.
They actually didn't even bother digging holes a lot of the time. They just had a spot that you go out over there and cop a squat.
Oh, dude, that's amazing.
But see, here's the thing. We know that because also because of that most of them were infected with parasites because they would go out there and they get the parasites on their feet and whatnot.
Oh.
And then they would all go for the communal purification bath, the mikvah, before they went into temple. And everybody used the same bath water. So you go in and wash the shit that's on your feet, you'd wash it off into a pool, and the people behind you would go wash it off into their pool, and this would go for the entire congregation, and you get everybody's ass parasites into you. Everybody had the same gut parasites at about that time.
And Rand Campbell and G-Man claims that we're not animals for people.
Now, you see, if archaeologists dug up a calcified Jesus poo, I would take that as standing evidence.
Yes, they're the ones that are golden and float 2 inches above the surface.
Right.
Absolutely. Maybe some glitter on it.
Yes,
So-
you break it open and you get a sound of angels. Crack! Oh.
There's a fortune inside.
There is. So for those watching, and if you guys haven't heard, I encourage you to look into this. Rand Campbell has predicted the end times at September 23rd. We all know nothing's going to happen, but he wants us to like do something, apologize to him before that time, so we can make some reconciliation, folks.
He didn't say that, did he?
He
Well, he's
really did.
He's probably going to commit suicide by Twinkie.
The worst part is
wait.
September 23rd of this year?
Yes, sir.
September 23rd is my dad's birthday. That's my dad's 70th birthday.
Oh.
Maybe he's going to send him a cupcake in the mail.
So for those watching, what do you think is going to happen on September 23rd? Go ahead and leave a fun comment. Be as colorful, as graphic as you want. Tell us what you're going to be doing or what you think will happen, or both, on September 23rd of this year. Please do so, because we encourage interaction here on the Awesome Crew Show.
Oh, yeah.
So, Lenny, you're going to be celebrating your dad's birthday. That's good.
I know. 70th birthday on September 23rd. It's so bizarre.
Bobby, aside from breaking wind, do you have anything planned for September 23rd? Now I want to go out of my way to do something fun on September 23rd.
I got to check it out here, but as far as I know, it's a school day.
Yeah, let me pull this up on my, because that is creeping right up on my haunt season, so I'm probably going to be at like dress rehearsal or something. Let's see here. February,
Wait. There's something. Critiquing December 23rd, 2015 Rapture speculation. Thank you, Google.
Oh, you know what? That is a Wednesday. I'm probably going to be, more than likely, I'm going to be at dress rehearsal that day for, Not Scary Farm. Yep, so that's what I'm doing.
Okay, there is an actual article about that.
Bring it
a couple of weeks ago, I was asked to examine, and I'll give you the link in the chat over here, and then
Okay.
we'll read it, and then I'll post it in comments.
Awesome.
There's a link so you can look at the same thing. A couple of weeks ago, I was asked to examine another date some people are looking at as a potential date of the rapture, September 23rd, 2015. I did not know that some people were looking at that date when I was asked about it, so I was unable to provide a response until now. I recently reviewed several websites which promote September 23rd, 2015 to see what kind of support its proponents use to claim the rapture take place on this date. Today I share my thoughts. Yada, yada, yada. This is a cold read, by the way. I have not looked into this.
Yeah, that's fine. Actually, hold on. I'll post the link, Bobby. I got it.
Okay. The September 23rd, 2015 Rapture speculation begins with a non-traditional way to view Daniel's 70-week prophecy, which is found in Daniel 9:24-27. Okay, right there I can tell you it's bullshit. The book of Daniel is not prophetic in any way, shape, or form.
All right.
This guy actually, it looks like he breaks it down pretty thoroughly.
All right, well, let's do a screen here. Bobby, can you pull it up on a screen share?
I will attempt. I will attempt.
So just click on the article, then click on that little monitor thingy. Again, folks, for those watching, there are people watching. If you can, put down in the comments section what it is you think will happen on September 23rd, or what you think you'll be doing on September 23rd, or both. Please, the funniest will win 100 Osmo points to be used at any Awesome retailer near you.
Can you see the big white screen, or what are you seeing?
I see a big white screen.
Prophecy-proof insights?
Yep.
Okay, well, let's just highlight that, and then we can go along with it all together if you like.
Cool, let's do it. We got about 15 more minutes to roll before Osmo wants some pizza.
Okay. See, Daniel 9:24, 70 weeks are determined upon thy people, upon thy holy city, to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins, and to make reconciliation for iniquity, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, and to seal up the vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. Daniel 9:25. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks, and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublous times. Daniel 9:26. After 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself, and the people of the Prince shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. The end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of war desolations are determined. Daniel 9:24, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the obliteration to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation and that determined that shall be poured upon the desolate. How the fuck do you get the rapture out of that?
How do you get September 23rd, 2015 out of that?
Many people believe that Daniel's first 69 weeks have already been fulfilled. The first week began with King Atraxus aided to rebuild Jerusalem's walls and gates, Nehemiah, while the 69th week of Daniel is completed around the end of Christ's first coming. That sounds awful personal, yeah?
I had a first coming last night.
In contrast, many people who believe that the rapture will come on September 23rd, 2015, believe that the first 62 weeks of Daniel apply to the first coming of Christ, while the next 7 weeks of Daniel apply to the second coming of Christ. How do you know? The first 62 weeks of Daniel have already been filled since Christ made his first coming nearly 2,000 years ago. Well, that's a long time to go between coming. I'm just saying, you give me a week and I start getting grumpy.
You heard it here first, folks. Bobby's gotta have it.
Hey, that's just basic necessity right there.
It's a biological function at that point.
It is.
The next 7 weeks of Daniel supposedly began on the day when Israel gained control of East Jerusalem in the Six-Day War, June 1967, which opponents say represented the modern day called Rebuild Jerusalem. The 7 weeks of Daniel are supposed to continue for 17,640 days, the length of 7 prophetic weeks. What's the difference between a prophetic week and a regular week?
2.
Okay. From the June 7th, 1967, the 7 weeks of Daniel are supposed to end on September 23rd, 2015, which coincides with the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippurs.
Yom Kippurs?
Yeah, Kippurs are smoked fish. I'm not sure if that's what the holiday is about, but it sounds delicious.
Okay, we do have a reply here.
Please.
Jim says on September 23rd, perhaps the Awesome Crew show will become entertaining again. Aww.
Oh, Jim.
You know what? He's probably right because it is on a Wednesday, and we do typically roll this thing out on Wednesdays. So you could very well be right.
That's what.
Yeah. Ooh.
We're gonna herald the apocalypse. How about that? Whoa, my inner demon has just got a boner.
So Max Trivium says, I predict on September 23rd that my wife will be getting ready to slob my knob.
He's gonna have a second coming.
And a third coming, and a fourth coming, and a fifth coming. 6 is when it starts to hurt, so I'll leave it at 5.
Ow! That came out my pee hole. Yeah.
It's like there's nothing left to secrete.
It's a penis fart. Stop it.
Oh, Lord.
A little flag comes out, says "I surrender."
Like bang.
No more sneeze.
Ejaculating dust. Little sneeze.
Like your body's having to pull like juice from other parts of your body. Your eyes start to cave in.
The answers here. Jim is a former Cunt of the Week recipient.
Is he?
Well, good for him.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
So that could be why he's bitter, why he's upset.
Well, I do thank him for watching.
Thank you for watching, Jim.
We love you.
Nah.
I'm sorry. Do
I
we
love
really need me to finish this screen share, or shall I just go into my whole thing?
No, I see Blood Moon. Go ahead, Bobby, because I know you have a lot more to say.
Well, no, I'm just going to go ahead and stop the screen share for the simple fact the Book of Daniel is not in any way prophetic. Both the Book of Daniel and the Book of Job are written while the Jews were basically held away from Jerusalem by the Babylonians. I in a video response, I referred to it as being held by Xerxes. They were not. We're going back to his grandfather Cyrus, who set them free, and they were taken by the king Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon. And while they were held captive, the Jewish population were held captive in a society that routinely assimilated the religions of the people they held captive. And so what the Jewish people were trying to do is maintain their cultural identity. And that's the overall theme of the Book of Job and the Book of Daniel. Both Job and Daniel had their faith in God tested. Both Job and Daniel resisted the temptation and cleaved true to their God and were therefore rewarded for maintaining their cultural identity. That is the basic overall theme of the books of Job and the books of Daniel. They're not prophetic. What seems like prophecy is post hoc rationalizations of the Peloponnesian Wars. So that's what you get. But these people seem to somehow think because it's written like it is prophecy, therefore it must be prophecy. So they start projecting what they want to see in their own times because they expect that we are living in the end times. And so it has to be talking about now. And so they start looking and start trying to piece together their own revelations about this to make sense of what they think is prophecy, but it isn't.
You know how many times the world was supposed to end and it hasn't ended?
Oh, God, I lost count.
At some point you stop caring.
No kidding. Yeah, actually, that was the last video I did to Rand Campbell. What was more about, cause these end-time prophecies really fucking get on my nerves. Because the church I was brought up in was real heavy on end-times prophecy. Right. And when I was a young kid, up until I was 16, and I had left the church, I probably said I don't believe this shit anymore. They were kept feeding it into, and it seemed like it was work to keep you in a perpetual state of fear, and they were trying to keep you to your faith out of fear. Right. And it pisses me off that people want to live in fear. They want other people to live in this fear, and they try to spread it to keep you. It pisses me off.
Well, that's what it relies on. That whole fear of you're going to spend eternity in a very warm place. And you know what, J.D. Kane brought up a good point yesterday when I watched briefly on Talking Shit Tuesday. He said that when apparently you die, you go into this afterlife, but you're still alive. So what is death to the Christians? Just your physical body dying? Because you're still going to go on according to them. So there isn't really any sort of death, you know, in the literal sense. But then he has to go, well, if after you go into this, you know, spiritual form, how can this feel pain? How do you have non-physical flames capable of hurting a spirit? I mean, it's just nonsense if you really think about it.
It's total nonsense, absolutely.
It'll be very uncomfortable for a while. It'll be just Ooh.
But then you'll get used to it, and it's like, yeah, this is actually kind of nice.
Yeah, you go to heaven, like, if you go to heaven, wouldn't an eternity of bliss get, like, a bit boring after a while?
Yeah.
You just
You
get tired of it.
You would run out of things to do, I would think.
Yeah.
The best analogy I've ever heard to the concept of eternity, and I want to ascribe it to Thunderfoot, but I don't remember who said it, was a picture a ball of brass about the size of the earth. And once every 24 hours, a dove flies by and lightly grazes that ball of brass with their wing. When that ball of brass is going to be completely worn down to nothing, that will be the end of the first day of eternity. That's how long an eternity is. I mean, it's mind-blowing when you actually try to process the concept of an eternity. To picture anything for eternity, we have nothing to put concept to. It's insane.
Right.
Any reward for eternity it's insane to think of.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you can like choose your own adventure kind of deal. I always pictured it being sort of like the holodeck in Star Trek. I was like, oh, I picture doing this today, and you know, Star Trek-y. I'm watching Star Trek, so that's why I'm kind of Star Trek-y right now.
No, Star Trek's good.
You said assimilate earlier. I'm like, bored.
Captain Janeway's a fucking hottie.
I always
Yeah.
like Counselor Troy, personally.
Yeah, Troy's pretty. I mean, back then she was hot.
Yeah, today she's a bit dumpy, but hey, mature women have their their gifts as well.
They tend to like it in the pooper.
She's not aged well, bless her. She's not aged very well. She looks a bit tired.
But anyways, Bobby, I want to touch briefly on the video that you made in reply to Mr. Rancam, and then we'll close this out with Cunt of the Week. And something very awesome that I'd like to bring up. Go ahead, Bobby.
Okay, well, before I go on to the Rancam, because I actually did kind of mildly touch on the Rancam response too. I just want to point out Marijuana Minute. Congratulations, Washington, D.C. It is now legal to possess and consume marijuana in Washington, D.C. Your legal sales are going to be held up by Congress, most likely, but congratulations on being able to get stoned without being arrested. But moving on to the Rand Campbell response video, he put out another video where he basically, it's like over 20-year-old video of the son and daughter of Anton LaVey, the founder of the Satanic Church.
Right.
Saying how Satanism is going to explode in the 90s and whatnot, and interpose that with a few screenshots of modern celebrities doing hand signs, whatever that means, as proof that Satan's in control of pop culture.
Okay.
And on top of calling him on the normal conspiracy bullshit, I do have to point out that even if, for the sake of argument, these celebrities are Satanists, so what? Satanism is a valid religious position, and people have a right to do music and artwork that glorifies their religious ideals. Whether it be Christianity, Buddhism, Hindu, or Satanism, you have a right to practice your religion without fear of persecution. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Amen, brother.
But I mean, again, this is a Christian nation. Remember that.
Yeah. Christian is 75 to 80% Christian, but Satan's in control of everything. Of course, that's where they go. They're not real Christians. Only I'm a real Christian. You got to think like me, which is very egocentric.
There are 30,000 different types of people stemming from the same fucking source material. You're one out of those tens of thousands of denominations. Get the fuck over yourself. Actually, I think it was either Matt Dillahunty, I forgot what the video was, but someone was saying that this modern stance on Christianity, this fundamentalism, is only about 100 years old or so.
Yep.
Like, Mormonism is actually older than the modern Christian thinking among these fundamentalists that we'll see on YouTube here. But that's mainly due to the fact that, evolution came around, and evolution challenged, God took some dirt and, splooged on it, and let's take a rib and make a lady kind of deal, so, whatever. Lenny, who's our cunt of the week? Because I'm hungry.
The cunt of the week this week, ladies and gentlemen, is someone who's deserved it for a very long time. Has never yet got around to doing it. I have to. I'm going to give it up to Bill O'Reilly this week. The Fox News, I don't know, I guess analyst. What do you call that man? I've only recently discovered the joy that is Bill O'Reilly.
Oh, he's a gem. He is such a delight. You should see Jon Stewart just ripping his ass open. It's great.
I have. I did a ton of research this morning. And he's a national treasure. I hope he never retires, because I think most people see him for what he is, which is a wonderful source of satire and comedy. He's just so silly, and he lies so easily. He's one of these people, you know who I'm talking about, those people who he'll just lie because he's talking. There's no profit in it. There's no reason to do it. Lie when you're getting yourself into or out of something. But he just lies because he's speaking, and it's amazing. He's amazing to watch.
I saw a video where he lied about his tours of different type of wars and whatnot.
That's right. Yes, he said he was in one of his books. He said he was in the Falklands, the Falkland Islands during the war, and he wasn't. He was in Argentina, half the world away, after the war was over.
The Falklands are actually a part of Argentina. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, but excuse me. I should correct myself. He was on the mainland of Argentina.
Okay. There you go.
400 miles away. So yeah.
So
Bill O'Reilly's cunt of the week.
That's awesome. So with that said, I had something, but I forgot because I just thought of G-Man. So Bobby, would you mind working with my publicist, you have your people talk to my people to get a hold of G-Man's people? And you know, have G-Man just pick a topic. I don't give a shit. Just not Campbell Soup, because if he's too much of an idiot to understand it, then I don't know how he puts his pants on in the morning.
That's fair. I will contact G-Man, try to set up what rules he'll accept, and then I'm sure you'll go with whatever I can get for rules. Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't care.
Okay, so I'll ask you to help pick a day. And then after that, we'll get it going.
You know, just have G-Man pick a day, just preferably not the weekend, because weekends are my time.
I hear you.
If it could be like middle of the week, that'd be fine. Just depends on what days I have off or whatnot.
November 23rd.
Yes. No, that's too far out. I mean, if he wants to roll out in like the next week or two, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, if he wants me to go on and grovel to G-Man, it's like, oh, G-Man, your arguments are so great and all inspiring. No, G-Man, your arguments, every last one of your arguments are shit, and you're so arrogant and stupid to realize it. He does not know how to concede, in defeat. He does not know how to do that. But anyways.
He's not a very humble person, our G-Man, is he?
No. He's my new lovable idiot.
Well, for what it's worth, I assume him, like some of the others, when the topic's not religion, I have a feeling he's actually a decent guy. I feel the same thing about Bible Thumping, Wingnut, and Matthew 14. When the topic's not religion, I feel I could get along with them.
No, I am pretty sure that 419 is a big enough douchebag talking about religion as he is not talking about religion. I see a little spark of hope with Timmy, but 419, no, that guy's just a massive cunt bag.
Well, for what it's worth, we've had a few talks about him and junk shopping, at thrift markets and whatnot. And I grew up at swap meets and thrift stores. I used to spend every weekend growing up at a swap meet.
Nice.
It's just the thing. So maybe I can just connect on that level or something. I don't know.
Maybe. But anyway, so I will keep everybody posted as to what goes on with this G-Man Derp 8. You know what? I should put down as one of the stipulations that if I have a Derp 8 with him, that I should be able to choose a character. So have it be like, I don't know, Pillbox or Kent Hovind or Thick Shades, and just do it entirely like that. You know what? Okay, here's the thing. Here's my stipulations right now. Number one, when I have this debate, I'm not wearing pants. Because I want to be able to, at the end of it, say, dude, G-Man, I just made you look like an idiot, and I'm not wearing pants. I get to wear my squid hat, because I like my squid hat. And G-Man has to wear the black hat, because that means he's really, like, meaning some business. Those are my stipulations.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
No
Fair
pants,
and
squid hat.
Fair and reasonable, I think. Yeah.
And I want an excuse to wear my squid hat.
I think life would be better if people just Porky Pig their debates.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. So I'm going to be Porky Pigging this debate. Why? Because.
Yeah.
Porky Pigging.
I'm going to do the entire debate with my knob in my left hand.
Anyways, I think. Go ahead, Bobby.
But you know, Porky Pig, he wears a shirt, no pants.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
Okay.
So with that said, I'm gonna go get me some fucking pizza and watch Star Trek. That concludes the Awesome Crew show. I hope we're having a Naked After show, but I will not be a part of it. So Bobby, Lenny, if you guys want to roll out with that.
I'm not feeling it, dude. I'm super fucking sick. I'm just gonna lie here and die.
Okay, well that's fine. I'll just eat an apple and see if I can contact G-Man.
All right.
Okay. So with
we're
that,
good.
it looks like we're not going to have a Naked After show today, which sucks because that tends to get more viewership than the actual show does. I'm Osmo. This is Bobby. This guy who's puking his brains out is Lenny. Have Lenny in your thoughts. Oh, hold on. There's a good way to end the show right there.
Yeah.